We good? Okay. All right. Whew, okay. Welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports live show where things apparently just explode for no reason. I hope you all are hearing me. If you are, congratulations. If you're not, I do apologize. We'll get it fixed as soon as we possibly can. We may need to go to a quick break just to check and make sure everything is good. Yeah, we're good. we got sound. Yeah, I just double checked. Yeah. Apologies for that, folks. Apologies. Jeez, that probably freaked me out more than it probably freaked you out. So we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Here, my name is Andrew Valentin. We are coming to you live here from the Illinois Media School here in the O'Hare campus on this fantastic Friday again. Wherever it is, ladies and gentlemen, Darren and I hope you're doing just right. Finally, I remembered that, too. It has been forever since I've been able to say that. Years and years and years. So I finally got that down pat. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today we got a lot, obviously, football stuff to talk about. Some good, some bad, some downright ugly. And unfortunately, Scotty cannot be here, but I'm joined by my guy, Frankie Oliveri. I'm not giving you that other nickname. It's too much. It's too much. Olive oil rolls a little bit better. I'm sorry. If the other guys want to call you that, that's fine. But you're olive oil to me, so exactly. You got way too many nicknames. Let's pick one and go with it. So, yes, I got Frankie with me. At some point, probably Nickel might come in here because obviously we've got Bad Karma Wrestling. So, real quick off the bat, if you guys want to see us while we're streaming here, you guys can hit us up at YouTube and at Twitch. That is at X-Bomb Sports on YouTube and Twitch. Make sure to search it on there. You guys can find us. We are streaming on there every single Friday. We're here live on Fridays, ladies and gentlemen. So, make sure to check us out here. I know we're going a little bit earlier than usual, but we had the opportunity, so we're going to be jumping right into it. And we're still gonna see exactly kind of where we're at. Hopefully in the future, Tuesdays are gonna be on the line. That's what we're looking at now, to go to Tuesdays for kind of the long format show, and then hopefully Fridays can be actually the short show. But outside of that too, any social media stuff you guys want to follow us on, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, where you guys can catch all the stuff we're putting out there and all the clips and everything, courtesy of the man in the back who've been cutting it. By the way, I need clips from last week's show, I'm just saying. So, I'm not trying to be sassy. I'm just, okay, yeah, well, it's fine. I'm not, you do a great job, Frankie. I'm not going to bash you or anything. Unfortunately, Scotty is not here because he did kill Bambi. Yeah, actually, we don't know if he killed the deer or not. He hit a deer. He says he's okay. Hopefully, obviously, Carr is probably incapacitated, and I'm sure the deer is just fine because they're like tanks. They can take such big hits. But, yeah, outside of that there, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to ask us any more questions or comments, as you guys always do, xpsportsofficial@gmail.com. We always appreciate it. And, yeah, like our guy Timmy said, he chimed in and he's like, it's somehow still Scotty's fault. Yeah, exactly. It's still Scotty's fault. It's all, yeah, it's another, I'm going back to giving you strikes. That's what's happening here. Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of NFL stuff to talk about. Frankie, let's get into this, man, shall we? So, first thing we're going to talk about, big story that happened obviously over the week. I know we've got some other stories. I put those into the quick hits because you guys were hitting me with those questions. And obviously this was a huge question too. The NFL trade deadline. A lot of you guys were asking what we thought were going to happen, what's going to go down. And sure enough, we were not left disappointed. We had some moves that were able to happen over the deadline on Tuesday and even beforehand, with being able to see some of these NFL stars, and yes, actual stars, were able to get moved. And one of the big ones was obviously from the New York Jets, trading away Sauce Gardner, their top cornerback, and Quentin Williams, their top defensive tackle. And the Jets just clearly leading the way with being able to get players. Also traded away Michael Carter II to be able to get John Mechie III from the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of moves were being made by the Jets. Now, trading away their two stars, you would think, oh, my God, the Jets, they just gave those guys away for nothing. Oh, of course they would. They actually got pretty good return. So, for Sauce Gardner being kind of the biggest one, 2 first-round picks coming from the Indianapolis Colts, along with A.D. Mitchell, wide receiver A.D. Mitchell, who was pushed down on the depth chart. This allows the Jets to obviously get a fresh couple of draft picks over the next 2 years. On the Cowboys side, they were able to get a second-round draft pick, this year, a first-round pick in next year's draft, and then also acquired, completely forgot about this, they got Maisie Smith, first-round draft pick defensive tackle by the Dallas Cowboys. And obviously for the Jets, you know, paper-wise, you look at it and you kind of go, hey, man, that's a lot of draft picks, right? For both of these teams, for the Cowboys and for the Colts, they are able to acquire players that certainly you could make the argument, well, these guys were dire needs for the franchise, right? So, in the Colts' sake, you are a 7-2 team, right? Speaking on behalf of the Colts, you are a 7-2 team. They are kind of in need of getting a corner since Kenny Moore II went down. They don't really have a shutdown. They've been doing decent without him, but now you get one of the premier shutdown corners, 25 years old, in his prime, two-time Pro Bowler, two-time All-Pro, and there were a lot of people who thought that maybe the Colts gave up too much, specifically, obviously, coming from the so-called experts, right? The football writers that are out there, the NFL writers that have been doing this for a number of years. I forgot his name. CBS Sports has him on all the time. He's one of these guys that has been around for a long time, and he goes, it's one of the worst trades I've ever seen. The Jets clearly won this. The Colts gave up way too much. He's not worth it. And, you know, look, for what the Jets got back from the Colts, it was 2 firsts, and if you include A.D. Mitchell, that's a second-round draft pick. Like, yeah, that looks like a lot, but it's a 25-year-old corner who's a two-time All-Pro, two-time Pro Bowler, who is right now registering 2 receptions per game, first amongst the NFL, and has a force window rate of 52%. Now, that's deep analytics, I know, and people go, oh, roll their eyes at that. I get that. But that means he's right now almost at a 50-50 shot. You throw the ball at Sauce Gardner, it's either getting batted down or intercepted, or yes, you have a slightly better chance maybe of your receiver catching it. But that's number 1 in the NFL. So right now he tops as one of the best corners, and I know, well, his numbers don't really say he's the best corner, Andrew. Come on. Statistics don't tell the whole story. How often are people throwing at Sauce Gardner? Almost never. Like, they avoid him completely. And when's the last time we saw anybody that was able to do that? Probably what, Dion? And that would be maybe the most recent one you would say. Probably the last Jet corner was the guy that you were like, don't throw to Darrelle Revis. So that's crazy to say that the Jets have had 2 corners that make you go, yeah, forget that side of the field. No, just focus completely on that side. And look, for the Cowboys, I was a little bit more critical at the start of the move because it's, the Cowboys don't need. Kind of makes sense, though. Like, they have a edge rusher. We'll get to, obviously, more on the Cowboys. But Quentin Williams is a run-stopping, double-team nightmare for an offensive line because he can still go and get pressure on the quarterback. He's still a great defensive tackle, but he's obviously more known for stopping the run. He helps support Kenny Clark, which gives him more one-on-one opportunities to maybe be more of the pass rusher that he's been in the past. And it also then allows their rookie Donovan to be able to come off the edge and be able to get more sacks as well. So the Williams trade is not the worst in the world. It's obviously, look, it's the Cowboys. We don't know what it's going to translate to. Right off the bat, it looks fine. I think it's still a solid trade for the most part. But I think at the end of the day, you could say the Jets it's a win-win for them. It's just going to come down to, can the Jets use said draft picks to build a actual contender? Like I've said this on every show I've been on yet. If by 2030 the Jets cannot have a winning franchise, they are officially the worst team in the league. Like, you have surpassed the Browns, okay? I mean, unless the Browns somehow find a way to get back to the AFC Championship, like, you are neck and neck right now with Cleveland for the worst team in the AFC, worst team in the NFL, I would argue, based upon ownership and team structure, all of that. So, overall, for the trade deadline, look, there were some other moves that were made. I think those were obviously the major ones. You did have other ones that happened before, right? You had the Eagles, which Jair Alexander. The Jalen Phillips one was, I think, a tremendous get, right? And they still have Brandon Graham. Like, he came out of retirement to still come back and join the Eagles. So, from where I'm sitting at right now, Philadelphia is just reloaded yet again with a lot of great talent. I mean, and again, they got more help as well too, coming from the Jets, obviously with Michael Carter II. There were small moves that were made that could ultimately affect and help these teams. Obviously, real quick one before we get into them, the Bears getting Joe Tyrone Sharinka. I believe that's how you say his name. Solid linebacker for the most part in terms of being able to play kind of the pass, a drop back kind of guy. He's more of a 3-4 linebacker, but in a 4-3 defense to split time, I would say, as the run stopper more than likely, with Austin Booker kind of being more of your pass rush specialist, with the occasional ability, I'm sure, to pass rush nevertheless. But that, I think, gives the Bears a fair 1-2 punch now with a guy in place of a player that was not making an impact at all whatsoever, especially for the money that was paid. Again, it's not a big move, but it's low risk. I would say average reward. Like, I don't think you're going to get special out of him. I don't think you're going to get a Robert Quinn kind of opportunity, but you're getting another piece that you can throw in for depth, and that was really what they needed. So, overall, look, for this trade deadline, pretty solid. Obviously, it would have been nice to see maybe some more big moves. Thought more maybe would happen. There was a lot of names that didn't get moved, right? You saw Breece Hall, who tweeted out something that looked like he was pretty sad and upset that he didn't get traded. It read like that. Everyone's kind of pointed out, like, no Chris Olave, no Jalen Waddle, no Bradley Chubb. Like, a lot of the bigger names that we've now come to learn, I guess, were getting priced out. That they were just getting – everyone was asking too much. I know the Bengals were looking for way more than what was being offered for Trey Hendrickson, and I guess there were calls. Another sneaky under-the-radar one, too, I'll say for the Seahawks, was Rashid Shaheed, which I love that the nickname I heard on Rich Eisen's show was Legion of Zoom. I love that. That's solid. Like, unfortunately, that excludes Cooper Kupp, but for the rest of that group, like – Horton, Jigba, and now adding Rashid Shaheed, like that team that is a fast team now. Absolutely, that is. I love that. I think that's going to be a fantastic group to watch going forward here. But yeah, look, overall for the trade deadline, exciting stuff. Obviously, Colts look like they're primed to maybe make a run. I know they're favored right now, possibly to win the AFC at this point. You've got Cowboys, which maybe they can still pull something off. They're not the worst in the world necessarily offensively, right? I mean, they're top, in fact, offensively. Defensively, I think a safety actually would have been probably more of their MO bet. But, hey, we'll see what happens. Obviously, more still to come, no matter what, for the offseason. But for what the deadline was, I was impressed. I was impressed with some of the names that were getting moved. So see how the impact comes out. I'm really excited to watch this Colts team now. That's weird to say. That's so weird that this team was supposed to be like 3-14, and now this team might actually be like 14-3 by the time the season's over with. It's crazy. I think this move for Gardner, you have to now put them, I think, in legit contenders. In that conversation. So good on them. All right, let's get to the quick hits here, folks. Let's do it. Your questions for the NFL. You guys asked us. We respond. The games of the week, news of the week. Rip through these really quick because obviously everybody's talked about them. We've already talked about them a bit, but let's hit them. So first one, a lot of you guys asked, they're like, what did I think of the Bears and the Bengals shootout? I didn't see it coming. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't know that a Joe Flacco, excuse me. I thought I was seeing Joe Burrow. It was, in fact, Joe Flacco, who was hurt, by the way, hurt his throwing shoulder, and still managed to have a career day against the Bears, right? Now, obviously, it doesn't go the Bengals' way. Does that upset me? Not really, because on the plus side for it, if anything, it's proving my prediction of Caleb Williams being a great quarterback. It's stretching more to that level. Now, is he great after this? No. But you see the signs of greatness in him by the way that he played. He's staying in the pocket, making sharp throws, making the throws that he was supposed to be making. Occasionally, he was off. Should have had another touchdown to Roman Dunze if he just would have thrown more in front instead of in back of him. But these are things that I think are still correctable. And he put that on the money to Colston Loveland. It was a laser coming out of his hand. And give Colston Loveland credit, this was a breakout game for him. As well as for Kyle Monungai. Like, your two rookies that one was certainly supposed to be big because he's the first-round pick. The other one is the last pick you had in the draft, which people had expectations, but really kind of they were subdued. They both have emerging games where now you go, I think you kind of have to give them more and more snaps. You kind of have to say, like, these guys should be, from start of the game to the end of the game, should be the starters. At this point, they've proven that they can play. You give them the targets, you give them the shot, these guys can be big-time contributors. So I think for what this game was, it showed a lot of what the Bears' offense can be at their height. It showed a lot of what Ben Johnson's total offense can look like with trick plays, all of it involved. Obviously, on the defensive side, you want to see more improvement. But you got a lot of injuries at corner. You've got injuries now to the linebacker as well, too. The defensive line has been a shuffle of trying to find 3 out of the 4 guys that can play with Montez Sweat, right? I mean, it's just been a lot of musical chairs with those guys. And it's not completely on Dennis Allen. He's going to take certainly he's going to take a lot of the blame from fans, but I think he gets at least a little bit of the blame, if anything, for possibly scheme issues and stuff. But again, it's not the bulk of it. A lot of it is just it's happened circumstance. Guys got hurt, not much you could do. You don't have a Jalen Johnson out there. You don't have a Kyler Gordon. You're working with special teams guys as your number 2 and 3 quarters, right? And they showed right, by the way. Again, he seems to be improving as the reserve role corner, but for every play he seems to make, there's one that he always seems to also give up. That's the issue. But he's big, he's physical, he's fast. For what it is, it seems to work. Seems fine. So I was impressed with it. Zach Taylor's going to have to go if I'm on the Bengals side. I said this on Blow the Whistle. Like, my stance is he'll get an offensive coordinator job. He proved that he can put together an offense, but the locker room is completely gone. I mean, last I heard, it was T. Higgins and Demetrius Knight were arguing with each other as they left the locker room to leave and go home, and they had to be separated from each other. So that there right says that there's complete and utter dismay within the locker room. Nobody's listening to each other. Everyone's sort of out for themselves at this point. This is where leaders need to step up, and clearly for Zach Taylor, he's kind of like sitting in the back being like, somebody will take the reins. No, you're the coach. So his managing skills obviously are not there. And if you're asking who replaces him, I'm going to say this again. I think it's Joe Brady. I think he's proven himself enough. I think the fact that he's worked with Burrow and Chase in college should be a proving point as well. I think then you say, go use the money to go get the best defensive coordinator. Because guess what? Your defensive coordinator's in Indianapolis right now, and they right now are having a great season. So, obviously, if you can pair the right head coach on offense, I think, in Joe Brady, with the proper defensive coordinator, this team could go back to the Super Bowl, I think, and start challenging for the division like they were before. But that is on management, and that's also on the owner. And Mike Brown's a terrible owner who's cheap, who's going to lose Trey Hendrickson. He's going to probably use the draft pick to go get another player that they don't need. I can't stress enough how much I hate the Shamar Stewart pick. I can't stress that. He is just a cardboard cutout of a football player that stands in front of. When you get hit by Darnell Wright and you end up 5 yards back by your linebackers, that's a problem. And he was supposed to be a top 10 pick, possibly taken by the Bears. I think Chicago did a good job avoiding that. Moving on. So, Arizona, this was asked by our guy Mike. Mike, not our Mike, a different Mike. Mike is from Phoenix, and he said, is it time for the Cardinals to really consider cutting ties with Kyler Murray? Maybe even Kyler Murray hanging it up, he said, in terms of retiring. Or is there a chance to be able to see him get traded? I mean, look, for right now, he's on injured reserve, right, with a foot injury. He's going to be out. Jonathan Gannon, though, will not seem to relinquish the idea that when he comes back, he still could be the starting quarterback and just give it to Jacoby Brissett, a guy who has clearly outperformed Kyler Murray so far this year, who seems to have the trust of the locker room, who's also winning you games, by the way, keeping you in competition for like, hey, maybe the Cardinals can still be in this conversation for a wild card and or the division if they can kind of get it all together. Like, he is the guy right now, the glue, Jacoby Brissett, that is figuring it out. If I'm Kyler Murray right now, looking at your career, it's been decent. It's been fine. If you can get traded to another team, I guess at this point you have to take what you can get because you're not getting a first-round pick. The problem is his contract is so big, and you're going to have to eat some of that money, or he's going to have to rework his deal if he wants to actually get moved. But I think everybody else has really brought up probably the best option for him, which is like, hey, Oakland A's do still hold his contract. They still have his rights. You're 28 years old. You were a 9th overall pick in the draft in 2021 or 2019 in the MLB. Why not go back to play baseball? I mean, Tim Tebow did it. I mean, and he went on a tryout basis, right? You were a first-round draft pick. You were considered a 5-tool player. Like, I don't know. If you work in baseball, you could still get a pretty hefty contract. And who doesn't need a shortstop in Major League Baseball? Everybody wants a shortstop. Everybody needs one. I don't know. If I'm Kyler Murray, I'd at least consider it because I think the Cardinals are about done with him. I think because Jonathan Gannon's likely out the door at this point. I think there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's fired. And then you got Kyler Murray, who I think has about a year or two left on his contract or something like that. Like, there is very little left for Hugh to be able to look at with him and say, hey, we feel confident that he's the guy. Like, at this point, I'm not saying Brissett's your future, but for the Cardinals, maybe it's time to start looking elsewhere for possibly the draft. I don't know if this year, but somewhere down the line, get a quarterback. I mean, look, I'll give you this. I don't know what's going to happen with Jacksonville, and if Trevor Lawrence somehow came available, would you possibly say no to Trevor Lawrence over Kyler Murray? I think there's a lot of people that would say, neck and neck, but Trevor Lawrence is 6'6". And that's always been the argument, right? Kyler's small, can't see over the line. Trevor Lawrence, bigger. I would say just a stronger arm, maybe. A little bit better touch on the ball. Not as athletic, but I think he's also been proven to at least be a winner like Kyler Murray too. So in some capacity, the Cardinals, I think, have to say, what is the plan with Kyler? You can't just sit on your hands and go, we'll see what happens. You have to start developing something now because it's pretty clear he's not taking you to the Super Bowl. So the next step is, okay, when we let him walk or he gets traded or something, what's the next move? I honestly think Kyler Murray's time in the NFL might be coming to an end. And if you're Kyler Murray and you go to free agency and you don't like what you see, guess what? Baseball is still there for you. It never left as an option. They still have your rights. And at some point, they're going to go to Vegas. There's a selling point right there for you to be able to maybe go to the Athletics still, play for the A's. Food for thought if you're Kyler Murray. Just something to put out there. All right. The quick news, I don't have anything to match with this as far as pictures-wise, but I'm sure everybody heard. Antonio Brown, back in the news. Why? He got arrested because he was hanging out in Dubai trying to avoid these charges, I guess, that were in Miami for attempted murder and has since been extradited back to the United States. He got his mugshot taken, and I mean, I'm just saying this right now. Like, this guy, This is a guy that has Hall of Fame numbers, a Super Bowl, like all of the things you would look for in like the success of a player. And oh, how far he has fallen. I mean, I don't know if this attempted murder charge will stick. I'm sure some sort of plea will come out of this, or maybe they'll just completely dismiss it because he was getting like attacked. So maybe they'll say the self-defense. I don't know. I'm not a litigator. But I just had to say this as a story because, boy, I still remember when he was a rookie coming out of Central Michigan and he was returning punts and kicks. And then all of a sudden he became one of the greatest wide receivers for a 5-6 year span. And then he just went insane. Just lost his mind. And I just wanted to throw that out there because a few of you guys hit me up with like, dude, did you see the thing for Antonio? Yes, I saw the thing for Antonio Brown. I know we've covered him so much on this show. Hopefully, I'm hoping this might be the last of it. I doubt it. I really do. Just based upon his personality and everything. All right, last but not least, the quick story on this. Obviously, if you guys had not heard, yesterday it was announced Marshawn Nealon, defensive end, edge rusher for the Dallas Cowboys, unfortunately passed away at 24 years old. Nothing was reported yet as far as what happened when the news officially broke. As details came out, it certainly sounded like it was something happened here. And I don't want to be one to speculate on anything by any means, of course, because we don't have the full scope of the information, and we may never have the full amount of the story. But the report was that he was being pulled over by the cops. He did not pull over. They went on a high-speed chase. He eventually crashed out in his car, apparently jumped out of his car, and took his own life. And I bring this story up because, look, again, no speculation on it, but clearly something happened here, and whatever the case may have been, whatever the situation might have been, I don't know his background. I don't know what his where he was in terms of potentially taking something or being on something, or perhaps this is like his personality and maybe nobody knew. From what I was led to understand, he was one of those fun, happy-go-lucky, everyone loved him in the locker room kind of guys who was proving himself to be a potential commodity for the team. And the fact that this is the outcome, just to me at least, if I'm saying, well, if I'm going to speculate and give my opinion, something about this feels very mental health oriented. I don't know if it's CTE. I can't speak to that. But the way that it was described with what had happened, it just feels like this is one of those things that I always want to be able to talk about because, if anything, the importance of stressing, like, if you are feeling a certain way or having certain thoughts, may we please all, from this show, Blow the Whistle, Bad Karma Wrestling, whatever your associated show we might be with, please go talk to somebody. A professional would be great, but if anything, talk to a friend, talk to a parent, talk to your partner, whatever it might be. Somebody to let them know what you're feeling, what you're thinking, because it's important. Because these types of things I know I'm only speculating on this. We don't know the full scope of what this is. We won't know until more information comes out. But as it stands right now, it feels like something happened possibly within his mind that led him to think that this was the only outcome for this, right? This was the only outcome, and it's sad that this is how it ended. So I use this as, if anything, a chance to be able to preach the message of please take care of yourself. Please check in with others as well. As much as you want to make sure that you are talking to others, talk to others as well to see where they are at. I got a great group of guys here and a great group of friends all around that always are like, hey, man, you doing good? You doing okay? How's things going? How you feeling? It's good to have those people in your life so that, be it if this is that type of situation or anything close to this, does not occur. Especially now in November, because this is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, which I didn't even know about, but that is, now more crucial than ever. So I just say please to everybody out there, please, if you are thinking or feeling any kind of way, talk to somebody. Even you can email me, by all means. I'm more than willing to have that kind of conversation. I am more than willing to. All the thoughts and all the prayers to his family, to Nealon's family, his friends, his girlfriend, to all the Cowboys fans and the Cowboys themselves, and, of course, all the fans that have watched him throughout his time at Western Michigan and all his teammates and everything there and even into high school, just everybody that has been in his life. A bright, shining star, unfortunately, has been lost because of Marshawn Nealon and what happened here. So, R.I.P. to Marshawn Nealon and all the best, and hope that he rests peacefully now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. The weekly recap, wrap-up, review. We take your questions in college football. We hit them real fast, talking about what went down in the college football world. I only had a few stories, really, from the week itself. There was a lot that obviously went down, but these are the ones that you guys were stressing on, so these are the ones I'm going to talk about. So, first things first, we got the ACC. Georgia Tech took a loss to NC State. I said this might happen. I said that NC State's offense could potentially match up with Georgia Tech. A lot of people didn't think this was going to happen. I know David wasn't too happy about it, but I said that, listen, there's enough firepower at NC State that they can keep up with teams. I don't know if they're going to be a team that is ever going to win the ACC, but they have at least enough offensively to be able to beat a team like Georgia Tech. And the defense stepped up big for them. So it's a loss. It's a tough loss. But at the same time, too, this doesn't completely disavow Georgia Tech from being a potential winner for the ACC and being that team that could maybe make some noise in the college football playoff. This is a great opportunity for them to kind of prove, like, okay, we're not undefeated. We are vulnerable, but hey, Haynes King had 500 yards of total offense by himself. Just absolutely mopped the floor with that NC State defense outside of a few key plays. At this point, I think he's going to end up being a Heisman finalist. It's never happened to a Georgia Tech quarterback in a hot minute. And I stand by saying that right now Georgia Tech, I think, is the favorite to win the ACC because I don't know who else can challenge. Because, unfortunately, on the other end of this was Miami, who I'm really eating crow on this one. I was saying it was Miami and Ohio State as the two best teams. And, boy, they can't stop disappointing me. They go into SMU and just lay an egg. They absolutely let a lot of people down, including myself. This should have been a blowout. I mean, or maybe not a blowout, but at least like a double-digit win. And Miami botches it again. They botch it again. The most interesting part about this is Carson Beck, for whatever reason, maybe this is just who he is. I don't know. We never saw it. But he just seems to be loving the idea of, hey, not my fault. Because they took the loss to Louisville, what's the excuse? The receiver ran the wrong route. That's why I threw the pick. Well, you threw three others, dude. One of them was right to a defender. In this game, what does he do? Yeah, we ran the same play 4 times. I mean, like, dude's just seeing himself drop and drop and drop at this point. Like, no NFL team's going to touch a quarterback in college who's going, hey, it's their fault. I'm doing my part. Are you? Are you really? Because it looks like you're really kind of starting to flop at the wrong time. You're laying it on pretty thin at the wrong time. You're supposed to be a top quarterback. You were supposed to be a Heisman Trophy winner, Carson Beck. And now we're seeing the absolute just worst of the worst with this guy. I don't think Mario Cristobal is a bad coach. I think he's a good, solid coach. I think he's actually a very good coach. I think he's one that can get Miami to the college football playoff. I think when you have, though, a bad defense with Cam Ward. You lose 2 games, you're out. And obviously you lose the ACC championship game. And then you get Carson Beck, who clearly has issues still from his time at Georgia. Yeah, I think he's just, for some reason, he keeps getting handcuffed by something going wrong at the U. Because this defense for Miami is solid. They are as good as I think you could find in college right now. But here again, the offense, it all comes down to, I think, Carson Beck. Dude cannot play in the big moments, apparently. And this is just SMU. This isn't like, this isn't like an undefeated Clemson team or Florida State. It's SMU. Oh, boy. Hopefully those Lenore Sellers rumors are true that he's going to Miami, because I think he'll do the job. Jeez. Brutal. All right. Real quick, we'll say it. Diego Pavia and Arch Manning had an epic in Texas Vanderbilt. A great shootout back and forth. Pavia shows that he can be a top quarterback in the SEC. That was it. He took charge against the Texas defense. That was extremely good. A lot of top draft picks. But in the end, Arch Manning played elite as well. Now, does Arch Manning play well against Mississippi State and Vanderbilt? Does that mean that he is a certified top quarterback at the college level again and should be a top draft pick? No, of course not. But it does say that this kid definitely does have elite ability and could be the guy that helps lead Texas to the playoff maybe next year. Or even still this year. You never know. It's a hard road ahead, but it's not impossible. And this win was big for them because it secures them a chance to move up the rankings and be able to kind of say, hey, we're not done yet. The SEC is still a very wide open shot with only a handful of teams kind of competing on there. But good on those 2 teams. I give them credit. Arch Manning looking great. Pavia doing everything he can. Eli Stowers, he's going to be elite in the NFL, I think. And honestly, I think he's going to be one of those guys who he's going to have to convert from tight end and maybe go wide receiver. Because he's just got a body for it. That 6'4", 225 frame, can jump, can catch, just can be that all-around elite athlete, honestly. Truly and honestly. I would be shocked if he whoever takes him is gonna get a guy. For sure. And last but not least, real quick, for the coaching side of things in college football, Clemson drops its game against Duke. And now the rumors need to start about Dabo Swinney. Because is his heart still in it? Does he have the players? Is that locker room still with him? It's hard to tell right now. Like, he is saying everything he should at a press conference, and the last thing he said was, hey, after this one, I would fire me too. Which to me sounds like a guy that's 1 foot out the door already. It's like, yeah, I'll leave Clemson, probably hoping that maybe he can get a job elsewhere. Maybe he thinks he's going to get a job like at, I don't know, Auburn or something like that. I don't know. I'm very unsure of where that position's at right now at Clemson. But to stay in with the big popular coach, we got to talk about Colorado real quick here too. Because Deion has just completely, it's off the rails at this point. Back-to-back 50-point games, give it up. Right? Over 100 games, over 2 games between Utah and Arizona. I mean, where is Colorado at? You keep using different quarterbacks. Your defense can't stop anybody. This was supposed to be the move that got Colorado to that next level, right? They're supposed to be fighting in the Big 12 for the college football playoff, for a chance at the Big 12 championship. They're nowhere near it. And I think it shows now that Deion Sanders in Colorado, maybe this isn't the mesh. Maybe this is. Think about this, folks. When he comes out of Jackson State, there's jobs opening. One of the jobs that's open is South Florida. He's from Florida. He went to Florida State. He is Florida. He is from, he played in Atlanta. He played in Dallas, right? He played in parts of the South. He is a focal point for South Florida if he goes there. That makes sense. You go to Colorado, which Colorado's beautiful, by the way. Boulder's a great place. I've been there. It's fantastic. But I'm sorry, where does Deion Sanders mesh with Boulder, Colorado? It doesn't work. You bring in Warren Sapp, and you bring in Ray Lewis to give that inspiring speech. Yeah, but those are Miami guys. Those are Florida guys. I know they're NFL dudes, but they're not Colorado guys. You brought in a Deion Figures or an Eric Bieniemy or a Cordell Stewart. Hey, you know what? That makes sense. Those are Colorado's dudes. Those are guys that are recognized by the school as all-time greats. These guys coming in there, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't mesh. It doesn't feel like it's working. Plus, you lost your meal tickets in Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. Once they left, you have to find a new quarterback, and they're struggling to do that. They have one weapon in Omarion Miller, who will likely leave at the end of the season and transfer out. At this point, I think if you're Colorado, you have to say, do we keep Deion Sanders? And here's another food for thought, too, for people out there. Did Colorado just bring in Deion Sanders knowing this would only work with Shedeur and Travis Hunter, and once they left, we'll let him go because, hey, we got our $100 million meal ticket for the couple years he's here, and after that, we're good? I mean, is it not possible that maybe this was a short-term solution to build up NIL, to build up funds, to make some money, and once he's gone, okay, now we'll go get the coach that we're going to probably try to get long-term? Which nobody's going to want that job, by the way. I don't think. It's always felt like a weird dynamic. I never really thought the hire was good. It looked like it was going to succeed, but it succeeded because he had his guys who were sticking with him. Once they left, you see what the downfall is. You can't recruit either in your own conference. They're last in the Big 12, or dead last, or almost as close to last as you can get in the conference. Not to mention they're in the bottom 50, or in the bottom 100 as far as recruiting goes in the numbers. They're not doing great. And you're not going to survive long term if you can't do that. The only guy right now that's guaranteed, because now we found out Luke Fickell, I don't know how he pulled this off. He's apparently keeping his job. The guy, though, that's going to probably lose his job is Bill O'Brien, because I don't know if anybody heard the soundbite of him at the press conference when they asked him, what do you think of the fallout? And he goes, okay, first off, there's no fallout. There's no fallout, okay? So stop saying there's fallout. He had a all-time crash out on the mic. Just absolutely, and then finish it off with not even allowing the press person, the publicist, to be able to ask the next question. He goes, yeah, Tony. Just an all-time great crash out. Great soundbite. Absolutely fantastic. He's done. They're 1-8. He ran off Thomas Castellanos, and right now, if anything, you can at least say he's playing well at Florida State, and there are 500. Boston College is terrible. Jeez. That's embarrassing. When you go to the mic like that and you have a crash out like that, that's embarrassing. All right. That's going to do it for the weekly wrap-up review. Let's hit the pick six. We'll do the honorable mentions, and then we're getting out of here, folks. So, Frankie, let's hit this one, buddy. Start this one off with, ladies and gentlemen, the number 22 team, Memphis. They're hosting Tulane, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, as it sits, Memphis is 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is at 54.5. Odd game, I know, for a lot of people. It's AAC action, but this could be a fun game. There's a lot of rumors that say Memphis' head coach is tied right now to possibly getting himself a head coaching job somewhere. It's still TBD at this point, but we will see. I would say right now, my favor goes, I think, to Tulane because Summerall, I think, is still the better coach between the two of them. No disrespect to the Memphis coach out there. Yeah, I tried, Frankie. I know, I tried. I can't do it as good as you. I'm sorry. I don't have Yeah, I got it's a Puerto Rican in me. That's all I got. Doing it in Spanish, yeah, I could do that, but but I get a feeling that Tulane can come out with the upset on this. I know it's in Memphis. It's getting colder, so now it might be a little bit more difficult. But still, I like Tulane in this game. I like the way that team's been playing still. They still have a lot of resiliency. It's going to be tough, but I will give it to Tulane. I'll give them the 2.5 points. I'll bring it down a point. And I'll say this game hits the over. I think it could be a nice, fun shootout. I like both offenses in this game. Next, this could be the big game. BYU at Texas Tech. My favorite thing has been that this is being called the Mormons versus the Alcoholics. Because apparently I love that post was out there because apparently Lubbock is per capita has the most alcoholics, which I have experienced myself. And, yeah, it's drugged out there in Lubbock. So, yeah, not for you, Frankie. You're not there yet. Not yet. Yeah, apple juice. Yeah, apple juice. Stick to your apples and oranges. Right now, Texas Tech is favored by 10.5. The over-under is at 52.5. I like BYU to cover that, and I think BYU can upset them. So I will say I think BYU, I'll say by 7. BYU by 7. I like Bear Bachmeier confuses me. I love that he wears 47, such a weird number. But he is so good in the clutch. He just makes plays at the right time. So I like BYU in this by 7.5. Actually, I'll say 7. We'll go 7 on this, on the dot. I'm going to say it hits the over, but just barely hits the over on this one. Next, we've got number 6, Oregon, against Iowa. I don't know what to make of this game. I would think Oregon should blow them out, but they're only 6.5-point favorites. The over-under's at 42.5. Oh, God. Could Iowa pull the upset? Could they really do it? No, let's go with Oregon. I'm not going to play this game. I'll say Oregon by the 6.5. I like that. I will. God, 42.5. You know what? Go for the over on this. I'll go for the over. Just Oregon has enough firepower. I think they can get it in there. I think they can score. If Iowa pulls the upset off this, though, I'm never going to hear the end of it from Scotty. I know that. I know he's going to pick Iowa. I know he is. Somewhere out there after he killed Bambi, he's going to be saying that. Yeah, he's just going to keep going through the animal kingdom. I hit a rhinoceros. I hit a zebra. It's like, what are you doing, man? Yeah. She's going to keep going down the food chain until he gets to a human being. God, Scotty. You got to stop driving in the forest, man. I'm telling you. All right, next game. This has a chance to be interesting, too. Number 3, Texas A&M. Number 19, Missouri. A&M right now is 6.5-point favorites. The over-under is at 47.5. There's a good shot here that Missouri might be able to pull out the upset. They control the clock well, but so does A&M. They run the ball well, too. Like, this is going to be – I think the under is a play here for this game. I don't know where both offenses right now are confusing. I don't have the full trust of Marcel Reed as far as a quarterback that can always deliver. And Zollers is young. I think he can play, but he hasn't had a lot of time to play. He's kind of just getting forced in here. So I think this is a under game to play. I'll say A&M wins it, but I'll say A&M by like 2 or 1.5. 1.5, I think I'll go with 1.5. I just don't think they'll be as prepared for this Missouri defense, maybe. All right, the NFL games I picked. Here we go. We got New England versus Tampa. I'm interested in it. I'm interested in it. If these are 2 MVP candidates at quarterback, I want to see them. Chris Godwin has apparently been approved to come back, and Buck Irving apparently is coming back in this game too. So for all those fantasy owners out there, get ready to start playing him because I think Irving's going to be a bit of on a snap count, and I think Godwin is probably going to play a little bit on a snap count too. but I would expect those guys to still be in there and be able to make some sort of contributions. So I am fully aware that obviously in this game right now, that Tampa is the favorite by 2.5. The over-under's at 48.5. I'm going to take New England, though. I think momentum's on their side. I think New England has at least enough there, and I like the coaching there in New England too with Mike Vrabel over Todd Bowles. It's not to say Todd Bowles is a bad coach, but I like Mike Vrabel right now over Todd Bowles, and I like Drake May right now over. Baker Mayfield. So I'll take the Patriots. They cover the 2.5. I'll take them by 3. I'll say it hits the over. I'll go with the over on this. Last one I got. Rams. 49ers. The Rams right now are favored 4.5. The over is at 49.5. And I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams, and I'm going to take the Rams by a touchdown and a half, 7.5. I trust what they're doing. What's happening right now with Los Angeles, I like. Stafford looks good. Puka is obviously been banged up, but Devontae Adams is starting to step up in his place, and so is the rest of the core. They have a great ground game going in Kyron Williams. He's just been quietly consistent. The defense has also been there, too. They've been getting pressure on quarterbacks. Their defensive backs have been playing very well. I like the way that team's been, they're starting to come together at the right time. Because right now it's them and the Seahawks challenging for that division. I know the 49ers are still in it, but I like the Rams more so over the 49ers than anything else. So I will say that. I think this game hits the under, though. I don't know if Mac Jones has a great game in this one. I know Kyle Shanahan figures it out. But this is one of those teams that they always seem to have a good mark for Christian McCaffrey. They always seem to find an answer to be able to stop him. And it's usually because they have an athlete that can kind of challenge him in the pass and the run. So that's it for the pick 6. The honorable mentions really quick. Mississippi State against number 5 Georgia should be a blowout, but Mississippi State's kept themselves in a fight in a lot of games. Duke and UConn could be a fun under-the-radar game. The 2 most efficient quarterbacks right now in college football, Menza and one of your countrymen, Bregno, I think is how you say his name. Dude's not a single interception thrown for the Huskies. It could be a fun game for sure. FSU and Clemson, it feels like a battle of who's getting fired. Like Clemson wins the game, it feels like Mike Norvell might be out. If Florida State wins the game, it feels like, I think Dabo Swinney might be absolutely starting to get pushed out the door. Or if anything, he's looking for a way out of there. Then you've got LSU against number 4 Bama. Yeah, of course, the Alabama fan walks in just as I'm about to talk about this game. Sure, that's my luck. I'd love to be able to say LSU could take this, but I have no confidence that they can. Bama's playing really good football. I'm at least hoping that they can keep it within 3 touchdowns for LSU's sake. That team, we'll see. That team's got a new coach. Maybe they'll come out and play. Maybe there's a chance that they could pull something out. I highly doubt it, though, honestly. Then you've got Navy versus Notre Dame, number 10 Notre Dame. I'd really like to think Navy could pull this off just to make my guy Tom very upset because, as we all know, he's a Notre Dame fanatic. And he always gets worried about this team. And this is a good Navy team. They've been a very good team all year, but I don't know. Notre Dame, they still have better athletes. They still have better players. I would argue to say that they have a better coach still in Marcus Freeman. But you never know. You control the clock, and you got a freshman quarterback stepping in there who he's still trying to figure things out in C.J. Carr. You never know. It could be a good balance back and forth here on that situation. The NFL games I've got, I got Baltimore and Minnesota. We'll see what they can do. It's going to be a good pass rush against Lamar Jackson, and Lamar struggles against the pass rush quite a bit. I got Pittsburgh and the Chargers. This is a good spot for Los Angeles to go in and continue to hurt. Excuse me. Continue to hurt some of their opponents here. And I don't know where the Steelers are at. I know they got the win, but it wasn't the most impressive win at the end of the day. And the last one I got is the Monday night game. Not Monday night game, Sunday night game. Or no, Monday night game. Philadelphia and Green Bay. I don't know. I couldn't figure out what game it was. Philadelphia and Green Bay. I wanted to put this one, obviously, in the pick six, but after the way Green Bay looked, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in that one. And after what Philadelphia just acquired at the trade deadline, it could end up being just like a 21-point blowout, honestly. It really could. Yeah, and A.J. Brown's back, but is he going to be back? Like, you got to throw the ball to him. And when he's been back, it hurts because I need Dallas Goedert to get points. I got him in a flex right now. I got Goddard in a flex because I have no play. See, it's a bad week for that guy. Everybody had to take the week off. Everybody had to have their bye week this week. All right, that's it. I have the last second shots, but Scotty's not here. It's the FBI investigation for the UFC. Dana, all I'm going to say on that really quick is Dana White's blow up at his media press conference sounds like a dude that's scared out of his brains. That's all I'm going to say really quickly on that. When Scotty gets back, I'll let him have his divulge into that because if you thought the NBA was in trouble, man, the UFC could really be in trouble of losing its fans. But that's going to do it for us here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to do it for us on the show. We hope you guys appreciated it. We hope you guys liked it. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like, hit a comment. We really appreciate it. Share it. Follow us. Be a part of it. YouTube, Twitch, whatever it may be. We love you guys so much. You guys are great, amazing fans. With that, too, ladies and gentlemen, follow me. I'm at The Fluffy Guru on Twitter. I'm also at Boom Crew Captain on Instagram as well. Also, too, we live stream every Friday, like I said, on YouTube, on Twitch. That's at XBomb Sports on those pages. Just search us. One of the first ones. You can even Google us. It's the first thing that's going to pop up because we made sure of that algorithm. Also, too, make sure to hit us up on the social medias if you want. Questions, like our stuff, check it out. We got clips and everything always coming out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on TikTok as well. And if you guys have any more questions or comments, things like that, hit us up at xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. Again, anything you guys want to ask us, we always appreciate it. And hey, while you guys are watching us here, make sure to stay on YouTube because pretty soon you guys are going to be watching Bad Karma Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, with our boy No Gimmick Johnson leading the charge. No David Double D Dykstra, but we probably will have our boy Frankie Olive Oil Oliveri joining him to talk about everything going on in the WWE and AEW this week and forward. A lot of good stuff going down, folks. A lot of interesting happening within the WWE and AEW, so be on the lookout for that. That is at the Bad Karma Wrestling YouTube page. Be sure to check that out. Coming up very soon here. And as well as that, too, right after that, we're going to be hitting Blow the Whistle for the Friday show, folks. That's right, Blow the Whistle. You guys can find us. We're on YouTube as well on that. That's at sportstownchicago.com. It's myself, going to be Tyler Butterball, Beautiful, No Gimmick Stick Johnson, and, of course, Frankie Olive Oil Oliveri as well, too. An iteration of all of us, more than likely, on the show. Talking all the sports that we talked about for the week. College football, NFL, NBA, you name it, we got it, and probably hitting your Killing Me Smalls because God knows we have a lot of stuff we probably want to complain about. All that and then some and more. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for us here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you all on the next show on Friday. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.